Hello, everyone. I am excited and delighted to be here. Today, we have a beautiful, beautiful cause, and this is Power Talk. Ask the expert. But with me, I'm going to have amazing men and women sharing their beautiful story. This is the time to tell our story. It is breast cancer awareness this month, and last month it was cancer awareness. So we're combining it and we're talking about cancer. And what we hope to do is empower, inspire, and give hope to people, individuals out there that are struggling with cancer. And we went through some type of cancer experience. And me, myself, I had two types of cancer. And I will tell you my story in a bit. But I have somebody with me who I really want to thank, and she is amazing. She is known worldwide by so many women and empowers women all over the world so that they can step into their greatness. And I'm part of her World Women Conference and Awards Texas chapter. I'm one of her leaders, and she is the founder. So thank you, Regnet. Thank you so much for being here and for supporting this cause.
Thank you very much. Good morning or good afternoon, depending where you are. And what an excellent moment to be grateful for another day and the breath that we have been allowed to take today. No? So thank you for showing up, because by doing so, you are investing in yourself. And in my eyes, all those panelists which are showing up today are the true heroes, because the heroes are made at their lowest point of life, when they think that they don't have any other way. How they did it, they will share it with you in a moment. But before we deep dive, I just want to invite everyone to take notes, because this is going to be your blueprint to success, the roadmap of your maximum health and wealth. And besides taking those notes, you need to take massive action immediately, because without letting any doubt or fear or excuse to really kick in. So why those panels are so important? Because with better awareness, we can make better choices, and with better choices, we will have better results. The awareness truly is the key to transformation. It's essential to be aware of the negative things you're telling yourself, so you can overcome your ego and truly achieve greatness in your health, wealth, and in your life. And to conclude, you can't tap into your inner greatness and overcome self doubt if you don't allow your heart and your soul to heal. What I realized is it's not just a mindset, because mindset is a psychology. You can have a great psychology, but if your heart is full of pain, if you're disappointed and haven't worked through the past, if you haven't healed, if you haven't worked through your wounds, which we all have, then you can not really have the life that you want. You can't really go for the goals and have the health that you want. So you will be self-sabotaging yourself. And that, my dear friends, is usually the root cause of any sickness, those emotions which are suppressed. Change your state, change your narrative story about who you are, and have the strategy to overcome any obstacles in your life. Your health is truly your wealth. Our World Women Conference and Awards team is here to support you. We are focused on women empowerment through education, skill building, and entrepreneurial programs that create new opportunities for women to sustain their livelihoods. So if that is something that you need, or we can add value to your life, at your service. And thank you again for showing up today and showing up in your life every day. Be blessed and really have gratitude every day for every single breath that you're really able to take. Thank you. I think you're muted.
Yeah, thank you so much, Regne, for being here. And I really want to thank you. I want to just kind of bring all the women up, and then if you can just wait a few minutes so you could meet them all. And they are all amazing. We do have a gentleman, oops, sorry, that is with us. So is everybody up? And can we see everyone or no? Okay, so we have Lynn, we have Joe, we have Iwa, we have Michelle. Who else is missing? Wendy, Dr. Wendy, and we do have Jeff. So they will all be coming in. Everybody will have a time slot where they're going to be telling their story. You see, if you stick with us, yes, it's going to be 2 hours, but these are 2 powerful hours that we are going to tell our stories that we probably haven't shared with many of you, and we want to reach millions of people or more that are struggling, that are going through cancer, and we want to be able to give them hope. We want to empower them, and we want to inspire them with what we did when we found out that we had cancer. So again, you're going to see these wonderful panelists throughout the 2 whole hours. So stay tuned with us. Don't leave. I am Dr. B with amazing panelists that will tell their story on what they did to overcome cancer. And if you have bells, bring out your bells, because the bell will represent freedom. It's going to help and remind people. You see what happens in psychology? We anchor what we tell people. So the bell is going to anchor courage. And we want to let you know that you have the courage. You have everything that it takes inside you already. And that bell will anchor that courage. So you can embrace it and you can step into that courage and do anything you desire in this lifetime. Life is short when you really think about it. So go after your dreams and live them every single day. So I am going to bring also my son. So you panelists, you beautiful panelists, I will see you during your time. And thank you so much. Kisses, and I will see you back. Regne, thank you so much for supporting this great cause. For those of you that are listening, we will be posting a GoFundMe link. If you want to donate $1, $2, whatever it takes, but it will be going for people that are going through cancer. Thank you so much.
And oh my God, you are going to have such stage today, because those speakers which have shown up today, you will be amazed. So looking forward. I have had the honor to listen to some of them. So really get your pen and paper ready. So you will be shared so much wisdom. So you don't know where to start. So
yes, and get your bell. Thank you, Regne. Thank you, ladies. See you in a bit. Oops. Okay. I have wonderful people here, and here is Madeline. Thank you, Madeline, for showing up. What we're going to be doing is Madeline is also a panelist, and Dr. Wendy. So we're going to come back in a few minutes, Madeline. Look at the schedule. You all have that Google link, and then just come back, and I will see you shortly. Bye.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay, and with me, I have my son. My son is Diego Vasquez, and as you know, a lot of our children and our family, they join us in this journey. This journey is difficult. It is hard, but I also want to inspire people and children that have that support, and our children sometimes they don't know what to do. So my son Diego here is going to be talking to you for a few minutes just to tell you what he did and how it impacted him. But at the end, it's all a lesson, and it's what you do with those lessons in this world. Thank you, Diego, for coming. Love you.
Hello. How's it going, guys? I'm Diego Vasquez. I've met some of you before, and I love all of your stories. Now, here's a little bit about my personal experience with my mom and what she went through. The couple things, I like to point out just two things for sure that helped me get through my mom's difficult time and my difficult time as well growing up as a child. First things first is kindness. You know, always be kind to your mom, to other people, to everyone, because you don't know what they're going through. And I was always taught that at a young age. You're kind to others, people will be kind to you. Another thing, I feel like it also ties into it, is your perspective. Having a great perspective on things and understanding what is going on and why it's happening will help you process and understand a lot. The first thing you have to think about is understanding. Okay, I'm never going to understand why my mom got sick, how my mom got sick. But I have to understand my mom is sick, right? Now, what can I do? It's hard, but what can I do to help my mom? Whether it's taking out the trash, putting on her shoes, getting her food, being someone just for her to cry to, or drive her to her chemo appointments, or radiation appointments. And all of this was at 14 years old. But I had great role models, whether it was my older brother, George Vasquez, or like I said, my mom. I've always had people to show me kindness and perspective. And I truly believe that changed my life. And if you could find just one way to improve your kindness and one way to improve your perspective, everything will get a lot better. Thank you.
Thank you. It was really hard for Diego when I went through cancer. I was diagnosed with two types of cancer, the carcinoma inside two, which is the local cancer, and then I was diagnosed with also with HER2 positive. So it was difficult. It's like losing your power in so many ways, especially when I lost my hair and when you're told, somebody with this type of cancer could live 5 years, and then you're like your whole life just tumbled in front of me. But I couldn't have done this without my sons, right? My Diego is the youngest, and then you're gonna see Jorge here. Jorge, thank you for coming here, Jorge. And if you can tell the story a little bit, it doesn't have to be long. What can children of parents that are going through cancer, what can you do, and how did you support us? And I know that it was difficult for you, but how can we inspire, empower, and give hope to people that are out there experiencing cancer, and especially the children?
Good morning. I think a way to support and help your parents that are going through cancer was into the mindset that you can't play the victim and feel sorry for yourself and feel a sense of hopelessness, because at the end of the day, your parents need your help and your support, and or parent, or whoever's going through this. And so I always had to remind myself, hey, I'm not the one going through the physical cancer. Yes, I'm sad that my mother's sick and I have thoughts of what can happen to her, but I had to remind myself that my role was to be there to be supportive, because that's how we were going to get through this, not by being in a state of panic and scared and asking her if she's going to be okay, instead of saying like, hey, we're going to get through this. And so I think support and just being there for your parent and not giving up, because they're gonna need all the support it takes to get ahead in something like this.
Yeah, it was really difficult. I mean, Jorge and Diego, they both came one evening. It was late at night. It was about 1 o'clock or something, or more. And my son Jorge is like, "Mom, it's time." And I'm like, "It's time for what?" And they were both bald already. And he's like, "It's time to bald you because your hair is not looking so good." And I had already bought wigs and stuff, but it was so hard. And their support and them just being there for me. They balled their hair, and then Jorge ended up letting his hair grow long so he can donate it later to other women that are going through cancer. And we donated his hair. So they both gone out of their way to support me. And I know that at one point when I was in the hospital, I had um, internal bleeding happening, and Diego was losing it. And I had to tell him at that moment, he was crying. I'm like, Diego, you need to stop, please. Like, I know sometimes as kids, you are losing it, but there's a moment in time. And that was the moment in time that I told my son, Diego, please, I need you to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. I need to go into surgery knowing that you are okay. And I'm telling you, these stories that we're going to be telling today are so hard. It's hard for us because right now I'm getting like this knot in my throat. But it's important that we share and we tell our story because there's a lot of people experiencing it. I mean, we're looking at, I got some statistics here. We're looking at about, in 2018, this is the statistics, 18.1 million cases. Okay. And then out of the 18.1 million, 9.1 had died. And we're not here to tell you that you're going to die. Like, don't even register that in your brain. It's like, if we survived and we're here, you can survive. And what we want you to walk away with is that every moment counts. Every minute of your life counts. That's life. So live every moment like it's your last day. Even if you don't have cancer, like live every day like it's your last day, so that you hold no regrets, so that every day you did the best you could, and you're living your dreams as you're experiencing life. So Diego and Jorge, anything else that you want to share before we go to our next speaker? We have about 2 minutes.
Stay positive. Remind the people that you love them. Be there for them. And listen. Always listen. You don't need to talk, but it's always good to listen. And thank you for having me, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of like my brother said, I think the number one thing is being supportive, coming together as a family, and talking through the tough talks on, you know, what you do if, things don't work out, and, and just enjoying the moment, and taking it one day at a time, and not living in the future. I think that's going to be the key to get through things like this. So thank you guys. Have a great day.
Thank you. And I love my sons. Thank you, Jorge. I love you. I can't hug you, but I love you. Okay. Thank you so much. I really want to thank everybody for being here. Like, this is a moment that I have been waiting for, to really bring women. Like last year, I brought like 30 panelists or more. I think it was 35. And this time I said, I'm going to focus on a few, but I'm going to give them more time to share their story so that we can truly, truly like go live, because last year it was more private. And this time I said, no, this cannot be private. Like, we have to go and blow social media. So we're asking that you share, that you tell other people that are experiencing cancer to come and listen to these powerful stories. these might be untold stories that we haven't told and that people need to hear, especially if you have experienced some type of cancer. I just had 3 beautiful friends, dear friends, that passed away from cancer. And in fact, I had a total of 6 people that died, 3 from something now is COVID and then cancer. And the loss is deep. But how do we keep their memory to keep living? How do we outlive our lives, right? And we're going to be writing a book, and so look out for that book, because our stories will outlive our lives, and we want people to read our stories from generations to come, because we want to inspire, empower, and give hope to people in so many ways that we probably haven't dreamed of. But with me, I have some amazing speakers, and one of them, and bring a bell. And the bell is to remind people that they have courage. And the only way they can tap into that courage is by really tapping into it and saying, I got this. Like, I got this. And today I have the first panelist as Madeline Cooper. Welcome.
Hi, Dr. B. Thank you so much for having me on here. This is incredible. I'm already holding back the tears.
Me too. It was hard when I had my kids up here talking. It was like, oh my goodness. Like, it was like, I still have like a tightness in my throat. But Madeline, first of all, and to all you beautiful panelists, I'm going to be, it's just like a little certificate, and I want to share the screen right now, because I think that sometimes we need to be able to receive something. And I think because life is hard, like, it brings things that are really complicated in our life. But I want to offer you a certificate of achievement conquering cancer. And because you can embrace courage to find the gifts of lives. Like, what's one gift that you found during this whole experience of your life?
Gosh, one gift. There's so many. I think it's just really listening to my body and really honoring my truth. And I feel like that is a big message. That has always been a big message for me from the illness, because at the time I was ignoring a lot of things that I think my body was trying to tell me. And so it's just be honest, be authentic, do the things that bring you joy. And exactly like you said, live every moment like it's your last, because life is such a gift and there's so many miracles all around us, even amidst the hard times, even amidst the illness. It's part of our story. Everyone's on their own path through life, and it's part of our own unique story to overcome these challenges. And then, like you're doing, like we're all doing today, sharing these stories so that we can uplift and inspire others, because we can get through it. And we're all going to pass at the end of the day. That's the game of life. But while we're here, it's like, how do we play it? How do we want to show up?
Exactly. So tell people who you are, and I'm going to leave you here talking for about 8 minutes. I'll be back. Tell them who you are, what you experienced, how you found out, and what can people do to be empowered and deposit the moments of hope so that they can be able to have hope in life. Thank you. I will be right back.
Okay, so I am just setting a timer so that I can at least know when to stop talking. 8 minutes. So I am Madeline P. Wober, aka Maddie Sparkles, America's Scottish Sparkle. And I've always been a very positive person, but in my 20s, I was going through a real time of negativity and anxiety. And I always had a dream of becoming an actor. And actually, at the time that I finally got to New York from Scotland to become an actor and go through all the training, that was the time that I found out about my ovarian cancer. And I'd been studying really hard and I'd saved up a lot of money, and I'm finally in New York. And I go for a smear test in Scotland during one of the holidays. I was in vacation back from New York. And the smear test came back with a negative result or positive result, whatever, the result that tells you there's something wrong. And they found a big fibroid, like the size of a grapefruit, right in the center of my stomach. And I had no idea that it was even there. That's the thing. I had no idea. And I was really fit at the time. I was working out 3 times a week and I didn't know. So I go back to New York. I'm in the final throes of my last play of the season. I was advised strongly not to go ahead, but of course I just couldn't not do it. So I did it. I did the play. And then after that, my body just literally fell apart and I had to go back to Scotland from New York to get this seen to. And this whole time I went to see the oncologist in Scotland, who was a top oncologist. And I was in my head, I was actually very grounded about the whole thing. I knew that I'd had a lot of emotions boiling up over the years, feeling a bit of anger, feeling misunderstood, feeling really lonely. And for me, I intuitively felt like that was where my disease came from. That was all the unearthed feelings, the emotions that were really boiling up and wanting to come out of me. And this seemed to be the only way for that to happen. So I spoke to the oncologist and I just said, look, I know why this is happening. I've got a lot of pent up anger in my body and I just want to know exactly what you're going to be doing. And he was very like, oh my goodness, like, are you okay? And I said, yes, I'm absolutely fine. I just need to know what's going on. What are you going to do to me? And so I made him draw a picture. I asked him exactly what he was going to do. I wasn't sure if I would need a hysterectomy or not. I'm 29 years old at this time. And he told me, he was very open and he said, listen, with your consent, you just have to leave it to me and trust me. And I did trust him. I knew he was a great doctor and I felt very blessed to have this doctor look after me. And while I was lying in bed the night before the surgery, the first surgery, I was watching this TV show and it was this woman who had cancer and her dream was to cycle the whole length of Great Britain to raise money for other people, for other cancer patients. And she was doing this and I was lying in bed thinking, oh my goodness, here I am at the beginning of a promising acting career. I've been diverted to this hospital with this illness and I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. Maybe this is the universe telling me you're not supposed to be doing acting. This is not what you're supposed to be doing right now. And maybe you're supposed to be helping other people. And so all of this was going through my head while I was watching this documentary about this woman on TV. And I really paid attention to how she was, her personality, the way she was being. And I just was so inspired by her positivity and by her yearning to help other people. And I thought, oh my goodness, this is actually going to bring me so much joy. If I can help other people, I don't even really care about my acting career right now. That's like the least of my worries right now, even though it was always a dream. And even though I've come this far, there's obviously something that I'm missing and I really need to listen to it. So the next day I woke up, I'd had the surgery. I still was left with one ovary. I didn't have a full hysterectomy. And I felt really, really blessed. And everything in my world was just like, gosh, you really need to rethink things and just let everything process and just really figure out what is it that you're here to do in the world. And at that time, over the last year or two, there were a lot of angels showing up in my life, a lot of angels and guidance. And I was tuning into that realm as well. And so what happened was after my New York, after I finished that part of my life where I was still doing a bit of acting, but I fell into radio and broadcasting in Scotland instead of going along the acting path. And I ended up becoming a coach and doing a certification with the Coaches Training Academy. And I became a co-active coach. I now call it transformational empowerment coaching. And that's what I ended up doing. And I have had so much joy from helping other people. And then also recently combining what I do with the coaching, with the angelic realm. And that has brought so much joy and hope and inspiration to so many people because yes, I'm using my skills from coaching, but I'm also really helping other people with their messages and connecting to their guardian angels. So this is just, it's just one story of the path. I ended up having 3 big surgeries. But, you know, I was extremely lucky. I didn't need chemo. I didn't need radiation. And I actually think it was because of my mindset. It's so important to have a positive mindset, even while you're going through it. And I actually found that it was my family that were really struggling more than I was, because it was happening to me, but they were felt more helpless. I felt like I was a bit more in control, and I was very, like, really challenged to really look for the positive and the silver linings and talk about the gratitude in my life to myself of everything that I do have. I have my family. I have this love in my life. I have this amazing doctor. I am being taken care of. My body is trying to talk to me. There are so many lessons in every challenge. And I'll just end with saying that you're never given a challenge that you cannot deal with. So everything that you're given in your life, you can handle it. On a spiritual level, you can actually handle it, even if your ego and your mind starts telling you that you can't. You absolutely can. Oh, I can't hear you, Dr. B. You're on mute.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I really love that you are here. And thank you. Thank you. We're going to ring the bell to remind people that you have that courage that it takes to step into your greatness. So I am so grateful, Madeline, that you told your story today. And we need to keep telling it. Madeline will be in our book. And I'm excited. And that way that you can really like read her whole story on what happened and how that she really finds strategies and ways to live a joyful life, because it's hard, right, Melanie?
Yes, and actually you keep calling me Madeline, which is so beautiful. I love it. My mum calls me that, but everyone else in the world calls me Maddie Sparkles.
Oh, Maddie Sparkles. Thank you, Maddie
Yes.
Sparkles. And I love it. I love that name, Maddie Sparkles. I will call you that from now on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I will see you later, and keep sharing and inviting people to come and listen.
Thank you.
To the ladies. Thanks.
Thank you so much. You're amazing.
Thank you. Well, we have another remarkable lady, and I will bring her up. It's Michelle Morris. Thank you. Morris. How do I pronounce your last name? Moras. Thank you, Michelle, for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Sorry. I saw an M and I just went with Madeline. But here's your certificate. Like, yay, yay for Michelle. Like, Michelle, it could be a difficult time when we're experiencing cancer. And I know this bell might annoy some people, but I really want to remind people, when we go through chemo at the end, we get to ring a bell. I don't know if some of you have or haven't, but we ring a bell because you completed a cycle of your life that was really difficult, and you're really celebrating. So that's what we want to do with our panelists. I want to celebrate that they're here, they made it, and they're going to share their story with you, right? So that we can empower, inspire, and give hope to people. And this is a certificate that I want to give to you, and because you are a champion, Michelle. You're a champion. You conquered cancer. And it's not only about conquering it, it's how do you embrace courage through this time? Because I know there's a lot of people out there that probably didn't conquer it, that probably might not. But how do you embrace courage during this time? And how do we find a gift in life so that we can really embrace what's happening?
Well, in my journey, I started my breast cancer journey through having a brain injury. Matter of fact, we probably would not have found my cancer in time if it wasn't because of my brain injury. But what I found with the whole cancer and being brave and finding your way is I realized that change is not easy. Change is always going to be some emotional journey. And as humans, we don't like change. We like things to stay the same, or we can predict it. And when you come into a terminal or a disease like cancer, the word itself sounds like you're not going to make it. I mean, everyone talks about it. So when you hear that word those words come out of a doctor's mouth, your first instinct is, and then you have to remember change has never been easy. We come into this world crying out of our mother. I mean, your mother goes through a lot of pain just to get you out of her, you know? And so think of all the beautiful things that happen in your life through the pain. And so I kind of embraced that with the cancer was, what am I going to do with this? Am I going to crumble, or am I going to bloom like a butterfly, you know, come out of that cocoon? And what am I going to do in the time I have? You know, because they were telling me I only had a couple of months to live when they found my cancer. And so it's like, okay, 3 months. Do I cry for those 3 months? Or do I live like the last 3 months are all the life I have? And so I took part B. And so I realized that change is an emotional journey. It's not rainbows and butterflies in a field of daisies. It's going to hurt. But the beauty is in what can happen. And what happened in my journey in those 3 months that I was living the best life I possibly could, one, I found the real me. The real me was hiding, being afraid of what to live for. And then when I found out I had cancer and someone told me I had a clock ticking very quickly, I became me. I became more loving for other people. I became more tolerant. And then I realized that I needed to find a purpose. And then I didn't die. And so I just kept going on that exact same purpose. So my whole point about this journey of cancer is be human. Allow yourself to be scared. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to cry. And in my case, I never got to ring the bell. I'm still in it. So I ring it anyways because I'm going to live every day like it's my last. As we should anyways. I mean, we're all on a ticking time clock, right? Everyone's on the same journey to the end. No one's going to live forever, right? We're not going to live forever. So you might as well live now. It doesn't matter if you have cancer, if you know, whatever you've got going on in your life, it's okay to be you unapologetically. Yes, stay positive and be. Don't wait for some illness to tell you that you're going to get sicker and die. We're all having cellular degeneration. Technically, everyone's got a cell problem. We're all dying. So that's kind of how my thought process went through this was, wait a minute, it's a benefit. Now I know what's probably going to get me. It may not be a bus now, you know, things of that nature. But what I did realize in this cancer journey, I haven't even told you who I am. My name is Michelle Moras. I'm an international speaker. So I'm a inspirational speaker, award-winning author and speaker coach. And I do a couple of TV things, Maddie Sparkles. I'm in some movies and I do a lot of voiceover work for children's books. So basically, if you look at my resume, I do a lot of things. Why? Because for the first 47 years of my life, I was afraid to be me. When I was given that diagnosis of cancer, I figured I only have so much time left. I better be me. And so I started living the life I always wanted to do. And I started giving to the people I always wanted to give to. And I made sure everyone that is around me knows that I love them and I care. I love life. But I didn't love life until someone told me my clock was ticking. So I'm telling you right now, don't worry about having that disease. If you have a disease or people in your life, live now. Don't wait for it to be a diagnosis. Live like you are dying. I'm not saying go out there and jump off bridges without parachutes or anything, but I'm saying live your passion, find it, and live fully into it. Now, just like Maddie Sparkles, I had many surgeries once I had my breast cancer. So I had my double mastectomy. And then within the next 3 years, I had 7 major surgeries in order to catch up with the cancer going through my body. So it's been a hard journey. It hurt. And I kept saying, well, I'm positive and I'm doing this great. And, you know, this and this and this. And I'm out there speaking life into other people. And then one day, like Dr. B, I talked to my children. What are you going through? How are you? Because I feel fine. I mean, don't be afraid every time I go in the hospital. I'm fine. You know, if I die on that table, I lived a full life. I'm happy. And my children and my husband all cried. And they said, you don't understand, Mom. Every time you went into the hospital, we waited in the waiting room for hours. We go into the surgery room. We came out thinking that it's only been maybe 10 minutes. Went to sleep, woke up, right? Our families are suffering. So for those of us who are going through these journeys, we have to give some grace to the people in our lives. It took me, 3 years to ask my family when I said, I don't know why everyone's so nervous about me having cancer and everything. And they went, Mom, every time you go in, we wonder if you're coming out. It never occurred to me. I came out smiling, so I assumed everyone else around me in my life were happy that I came out. Well, they were, but we never accounted for the trauma they went through for the 3 hours when the doctors went in and found something else and had to close me up for a little bit, then open me back up again and keep me in that surgery room for like 4 hours or something insane like that. If you're going through a journey, remember, it's not just you. I know you're going through the pain. I know it hurts, and I know you're scared. But now is the time to bring your family together, the people who love you, your friends who have become family, closer to you, because they're hurting too. I have friends who have never told me until just recently. Now, I was diagnosed in October of 2017, and it wasn't until now, like September 2021, that friends that were in this journey with me went, Michelle, every time you went in, we were scared so bad that we would lose you forever. It never dawned on me. I went to sleep. I woke up with a piece of me gone. I went to sleep. I woke up with another piece of me gone. I'm still charging. But see, my mindset, like Dr. B, we were all talking about this today. Our mindset shifts to live.
Yes.
Our families have to be brought into that mindset with us so that they don't hurt as much as they are. They quietly settle in pain while we keep charging forward. So in your journey, remember, love the people closest to you because they're the ones that we tend to ignore because we think they understand. Let them understand with us.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much. I love your story. And Michelle is also, like I said, she will be an author in the book. And I'm so excited to really read your whole story because I've been able to listen to part of it. And I know that when we write this book, we will touch millions of people and we will inspire them and we will give them hope and we will give them ideas on how to live the moment because that is the most important thing, that every moment counts. And it's that mind shift that you're talking about. It's like you have to shift it and know that it matters that you live this moment, not in the future.
Yes.
So, thank you. Thank you so much, Michelle, for being here. Let's keep sharing the timeshare and blessing, and let's keep ringing that bell. Thank you. Hugs and kisses. Next, we have a beautiful soul that I've met with one of my mentors, Bill Wash, and I hope he's watching. And if not, we'll get him to watch it because Dr. Wendy Labotte is here. She's the financial healer. So I want to thank you for saying yes, Dr. Wendy, because I know we all have like a busy schedule, but I know that you also experience cancer. What type of cancer that you experience?
I had breast cancer, HER2 positive, and we caught it early, so that was a good thing. But it was like I said, nobody in my family had breast cancer. My mom did pass away from colon cancer, but I never thought I'd get cancer, let alone breast cancer.
And it's a big shock, like when they confirmed it, it's like, wow. But also, I really, really want to congratulate you. Like, this is your moment. Like, yay for us. Yay. Let's make it up. Like, I am so happy that you are here telling your story. Congratulations. You are a champion because you conquered cancer. You're embracing it with courage and you found the gifts. And I think one of the big gifts that I even found during that time was my finances. Like I thought my finances were in order, but when I had cancer and it was 5, 6 years of being sick, like my health became my wealth. I mean,
Mhm.
I lost so much in my life that I had to rethink how I manage money and save and invest because it was crazy. But this is your time, and I want you to tell people about your story. So I'm going to let you talk and talk about the gifts and how you even started your finances. Love you, Wendy. Thank you.
Thank you. But thank you for having me. And I love the stories that I've heard, these amazing women. We go through this battle with cancer, but it's just a journey. It's a battle, and we end up winning the entire war, whether we make it through or not. But I've been an entrepreneur for almost 4 decades. It's like, wow, I started when I was like 2 years old. But I had expanded my business in 2014 to include insurance and financial services because the Affordable Care Act mandated that everyone have health insurance. So, I didn't want to be a hypocrite. So I bought all the products and used all the services that I was selling to my clients. And, I one of my colleagues in 2015, we were talking after a meeting, and he said, Wendy, I went for a routine physical and I found out I got kidney cancer. It's like, oh, wow, I was sorry to hear it. And I expressed my, sympathy for him having to go through whatever he's about to go through. I said, but I jokingly said, well, I know you're going to clock some dollars because I knew the products that we were selling. And he said, Wendy, I don't have any of those products. It's like, what? You're in the business and you don't have, any products, any of the coverages that we're selling? He said, I don't have any of that. He just had the minimal coverage to meet the mandate for the health insurance requirement, which was unfortunate for him. But in 2017, I went from our, routine mammogram, and the radiologist suggested that I have a biopsy, which I did. And he said the results will be ready 3 days later. So I knew, I said, okay, whatever it is, I prepared myself. If it's something, we're going to nip it in the bud. If it's nothing, thank you, Jesus. So 3 days later, I called the radiology department to try to get the results. And they told me I had to get it from my ordering physician, which was a new gynecologist I had just seen, just about a month before. And so I said, okay. So I called her office to, tell them, look, I need to get my biopsy results. And the receptionist said, well, you need to make an appointment with the doctor. I said, well, okay, let's make an appointment. And she put me on hold. And a minute or so later, the office manager came on and said, well, she doesn't make appointments to discuss, results. It's like, okay, well, how am I going to get my results? She said, well, you can come by and pick them up. So I said, okay, I'm on my way. I'll be there in like 5 minutes because it was, right around where I live. So I drove to the office, went in, told them who I was, and they handed me a sealed envelope. So I walked out to my car. I opened up the envelope and it said carcinoma, which I knew meant cancer. And I was like, a sense of peace came over me, but I was really pissed because it's like I got cancer and this woman won't even let me know. I thought a doctor is supposed to tell their patient when they got cancer. I know she saw the results. So I said, Lord, what do I need to do? So I called a friend of mine who was a cancer conqueror and told her the situation. I said, well, I need to get, I don't know what to do next. I'm not going back into this doctor who isn't even telling me I got cancer. What do I need to do? She said, well, look, I'm going to give you my oncologist number. Call them and explain the situation, and they can direct you from there. So I did that. And when I called, they were very receptive. They told me to, fax over the results, and they would call me right back. So I went home, faxed over the results, and sure enough, in a few minutes, they called me right back. And then the lady, the receptionist or the intake person, started taking my insurance information. And she was saying that she was sorry that they didn't accept that insurance. I'm like, oh, wow. I said, well, what do I do now? She said, let me call you back. So in a few minutes, she called me back, gave me the number to call, and told me to call. And the lady was waiting to hear from me, and she just needed to get all my information. They would set up an appointment for me. So sure enough, I called. The lady took my information, got me set up with an appointment with an oncologist in like 3 days. So I went to the oncologist appointment, but prior to that, I did all this research, because I didn't know about breast cancer other than what you see on the commercials and things like that. So I went on and did all this research. So when I went to the appointment, I told the doctor, I said, look, I want, because my friend, she had beautiful hair. She had all these, she showed me all her battle scars from all the surgery. She tried to have the reconstructive surgery and they really butchered her up. So I told him, I said, look, I don't want, she didn't have chemo. She didn't have radiation. She just had all these surgeries. So I said, look, I want a double mastectomy, reconstructive surgery, no chemo, no radiation, and let's get this stuff out of me. So the doctor, she was so cute. She said, well, Miss Labat, I know what you want, but I'm going to tell you what's best for you. So in other words, she kind of shut me down real quick and said, look, I'm the expert here, so I'm going to tell you what's best for you. So she explained everything, the kind of cancer that I had, my treatment options, and I, of course, the kind of cancer I had was very aggressive, and I wanted the most aggressive form because I'm killing this stuff. I'm conquering this disease. So I took the most aggressive form of treatment, which meant chemotherapy every 3 weeks for a year. And the price tag was $67,000. And I was like, wow, that's a lot. But it didn't matter at the time. I didn't realize, I didn't care because my insurance was covering everything. But when I started looking at all the coverage I had, not only did my insurance cover the almost $1.5 million worth of medical bills from the chemo and the surgeries, but I also got multiple six-figure financial shots in the arm. They allowed me to focus on my recovery and not worry about money. So I'm like, okay, I found a financial cure. So I told the Lord, I said, I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm wealthy, I'm in my comfort zone, I'm good. And he said, no, you're about to go on a crusade to empower other people to be in a position to not let illness or injury ruin them financially. So that's how I became the financial healer. That's how I started my new business, the Financial Cures. I've written 2 best-selling books about it, have a master class, and it's really been a blessing in disguise. So everybody, your health is truly your wealth, because once you lose it, I mean, it closes the door for a lot of financial opportunities.
Mhm.
So, and I want to tell you, I love your sons. I met them when we were in Austin, and they are such fine young men. Or, I've just, their story, their support. My family was awesome as well. But it's good to have that kind of support.
It is, and they're wonderful. And I push them that extra mile. I'm like, you have to. They already wrote a book with me, and I'm going to get them to share their story in this book that we're writing, that you're going to be in. Thank you so much for saying yes, because we are going to empower so many people, Dr. Wendy. So many people that need to listen to our stories. Your story about finance is powerful, because I had a similar experience. In fact, 8 months before, believe this or not, 8 months before I was diagnosed with cancer, my husband was leaving me, right? So I was like, and I kind of sensed it. So I was like, where can I cut my budget, right? And guess what I cut? My insurance.
Insurance, yeah, that's usually the first to cut.
Because in my head, it was like, I haven't been sick for a long time. And I cut my life insurance. And it was like, wow, biggest mistake, because it has that critical rider, the
Mhm.
chronic, the terminal. And I was like, what did I do? But life is all about learning,
It
right?
is. And you have to realize that it's, I didn't do it, and I'm going to be transparent. It wasn't because I was doing some personal financial planning. I did mine from a business and marketing perspective. And, my husband, we had coverage through him for years, but he retired. So I had to get it in order to keep, us covered. And had I not, been in the business, no one was talking to me about that. No one was talking about, health insurance or getting the kind of life insurance or coverage that will give you that multiple six-figure tax-free payout. So
Mhm.
God was looking out for me all along. He was positioning me to be that kind of influence for other people, because people do make their insurance down the line. Everything else is a priority. They'll insure their cars, their cell phone, their house. But when they say life insurance or even health insurance, they don't want to do it because it's not a priority. They don't think it's a priority, but
They
it
don't think
is.
it's a
Yeah.
priority. but connect with Dr. Wendy, and you need to. It's the financial healer. There's so much power to it. And I will be posting also a link for those of you that are interested in donating in the foundation of Alive and Beautiful. You know, just recently I've lost some friends, and finances has been an issue.
Yeah.
So I've always thought the more I have, the more I give. And I want to raise money to really give and make a difference. So thank you so much, Dr. Wendy.
Thank
And
you.
stay tuned or stay right here because we're bringing Joe. Joe, I love you, Joe. And I'm leaving Dr. Wendy just for a bit
Hi,
because
I
I
love
want
you
you to
too.
know. Hi, I want you to know that I love you. I have no idea how I keep messing up with your time, but you are special. You matter.
Oh,
And thank you. Thank you so
no
much.
worries. I'm enjoying listening to everybody and crying, trying not to cry with everybody, and just so empowered by the strength that all the women so far have displayed. So please don't even worry. When you get to me, you get to me. It's no big deal.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Wendy.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Thanks.
So thank you so much. And I also have that beautiful, I think it's beautiful,
It is.
certificate, you know, because I feel that you are also a champion, right? You conquered cancer, you're embracing courage to find the gifts in life. What type of cancer that you have?
I had the BRCA1 genetic cancer, and I had it on both sides. So I was BRCA1 positive, and
Mhm.
I went very undiagnosed for a long time, probably for about 4 or 5 months, because I was too young. My doctor said I was too young to have any type of cancer. So she refused to do any tests, any markers, anything, and until it got to the point that my father actually took me to his family doctor and said, "Look, something is not right with my super energetic daughter who now has no energy." Right? So I was the one that won the genetic lottery in my family, and so
Mm.
we actually have a long, extensive family history of cancer. My mom's mom died of she actually died. She had a stroke, but she um, had breast cancer and ovarian cancer. My other grandma had passed away of ovarian cancer, and throughout my family, we've had series of cousins and everybody having ovarian cancer, breast cancer, but mine is a different type. It's BRCA1. It's the BRCA1 breast cancer. So no
Mhm.
matter what I did, I was just genetically wired to get breast cancer.
Mm.
And so that's, it was actually quite a shock when it happened, because we thought I maybe had the flu. We thought I was sick. The only thing that was really prevalent to me is I had breast cancer in both sides, and I had two big, very big lumps on both sides. One was like 12 o'clock, one was 12:05, and they were as big as a mandarin orange. So you can visibly put your fingers, and it was a hard lump. It almost felt like an Easter egg stuffed in my shirt. And I kept telling my family doctor, something is not right. And she goes, no, you're too young for this. You're too young. We don't start testing for breast cancer until, somebody's in their mid 40s. And so by the way, I'm Jill Wheeler, owner of La Bella Sabinita and the Powerball team here in Italy. We run a retreat bed and breakfast. So we do retreats. Part of our retreats, Maddie is one of our coaches that's going to be doing a retreat, and we've got several special guests that are going to be coming. But I used to be a business owner in Canada. I own Sparkly Clean cleaning company. My business was growing leaps and bounds when it was 2009 when I was diagnosed. The first couple of months, my doctor pretty much ignored everything. And then my father took me to his family doctor. The family doctor immediately referred me to a cancer specialist, who immediately referred me to a breast cancer specialist, and said that my cancer was so large that he would prefer if I went with somebody who specifically only dealt with breast cancer. A lot of myths were learned when I went through that journey, and when I went through the breast cancer specialist. I was actually fortunate. I had my cancer experience in Canada, where it is everybody has medical. So I never paid one medical bill for any of my cancer. I know everybody's like, okay, we're moving to Canada right now. But I actually had quite a lot of surgeries, procedures. So what the biggest myth that I found is that cancer is not just for women. Breast cancer is not just for women. Breast cancer can happen to anybody, pets, men. And my doctor had told me that the youngest patient that she had a mastectomy on was a 12-year-old girl. So that let me know that we need to, as a society, we need to be truly like checking more. My daughter just passed away. My honorary daughter just passed away this past February of ovarian cancer, and they had attributed it and said, "Oh, she's just gained weight. She just needs to lose weight. It's just a cyst," and it actually wasn't. She had ovarian cancer. She passed away very suddenly in February. But I actually ended up going through 8 months of chemotherapy. In Canada, when you don't have a surgery date, they just keep treating you until, because all surgery is on a wait list. Oops, sorry, I just messed up my hair. But all surgery is on a wait list. And so every time I couldn't get to surgery or my surgery would postpone, I would then go through another round of chemo and another round of chemo. And so I went through 8 months of chemotherapy. In total, I had a double mastectomy, bilateral on both sides, as well as all muscle and tissue removal. So I was left with very little muscle in my chest, and they removed all the lymph nodes in my arms. I dealt with mine a different way. So I had many days where I cried. I had just lost 2 really good girlfriends. One a few months before I was diagnosed, and one a year before that I was diagnosed. So what I did was, as a company, we started doing breast cancer fundraisers, and we would do Mother's Day luncheons, and we would, we would charge people and raise money for cancer. And in 2009, a week before the Mother's Day luncheon, I had found out for sure that I had cancer, and I was on my way to go clean for a customer. And they said, "Hey, you need to come into the office." And I said, "Oh, okay, I'll do it when I'm done." And they said, "No, you need to come in now." And I think we all know that very moment when it happens to us, we could tell you what we ate, what we were wearing, what we were driving, what we were listening to. Everything in the world just stops. And so when I was going through my cancer journey, I made a decision that I was going to be as positive and as energetic as I possibly could. I would go in there with stickers on my chest when I was having surgery. I'd put smiley face stickers, or I'd draw like a treasure map, cut here, treasure here, liposuction here. And I would go into chemotherapy as happy and as joyful as I could, because I thought, I may have cancer, but cancer does not have me. I wanted it to be, there did come a time, it was stage 4. And, that was really hard as a mother. I had to, let my daughter know, hey, that I could make it, and that I home, that I would, that I would be ready. But if not, and it made me want to do the things that I was scared to do as well, and take them today. And one of the other things that I did were mine, that body were 2 different people. And I had to say, we are going to be okay. We are going to be a champion. And I think a lot of it was, choosing to be a champion. So I just want to thank you so much for doing this, Dr. B. Minutes go by really quick. We're all thinking, what are we going to say in 8 minutes? And then they're really fast. All of the women and men out there who have cancer. And I just, if I can just say one last thing before we go is, you can do this one day at a time, and all you need to do is time. But if not, keep going, keep going, keep going. Smiling helps a lot too, and a lot of hugs, but not after you have a double mastectomy. Don't hug somebody if they have tubes and everything hanging out of their body. But I just love you, and
thank you so much. And we have to ring the bell because it's going to remind us of courage. Like, you have to step into your courage. And Joe, it is about living the moment. And one of the things that I've learned throughout this whole process, it's like just going after what I want, no matter what people think of me. Like, it's not that I don't care. It's like, this is my life. I want to do it. I'm going to do it, and that's that. So whether people like it or not, it's like, too bad. This is what I want to do. It makes me happy, and I'm going to live the moment, which is powerful. And I know that I'm going to be seeing you hopefully in April. So I will. Yay. We'll be happy. And thank you for saying yes. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, one of the crazy things I did is I lost my hair too, and we chose to do a shave-a-thon, and so everybody around the world, whoever knew me, we all donated $25 to cancer. We all shaved our heads, and my hair was falling out. So the next day was Sunday, and the only wig I had was a bright pink Halloween wig. So I wore that to church and just shocked everybody. And then they said, "Oh, that's just Joe. That's just Joe." So have fun with it, because I had to go, "Oh, look, God just said I just need a boob job," and "Oh, look, God just said you need to get a wig," and and
yeah.
And it was those days, seeing the bright side to it, that actually helped on the really bad days to get through it, because I had some really dark days too, and I'm sure you did. I'm sure we all did. I'm sure we all had some days where we were filled with doubt, going, am I going to get to tomorrow? So, and definitely, if I can, yes, we are doing retreats. Maddie is actually one of the coaches doing a retreat. Hers is next June, so she's doing a whole month. So we have a whole list of people doing retreats. You could find it on our La Bella Sapinita Powerball page.
Yes, reach out to Joe, and it's all about retreats and being able to discover who you are in those retreats. And I go pink intentionally, so I have my pink hair during this whole month, and I love it.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
And we're going to bring another amazing person who I also love.
Lindy,
and she just
I love you. Okay, well, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Joe. Have an amazing day. Hey, Lynn. Thank you, Lynn, for being here and saying yes. One of the things with Lynn, she interviewed me on her podcast. And when I called her to try to speak with her, she talks about laughing, and she has a beautiful laugh. So laughter is something that everybody needs, Lynn. And not only that, she has this amazing pillow that you have to get. I haven't gotten it, but I have pillows already, but I'm going to get one of hers to see and experience that. Because when you go through cancer, sometimes you want to be hugged and you want to be held. And I went through a divorce, so imagine that, right, Lynn? But before we go into your session, I really want to give you the certificate too, because you are a champion, conquered cancer, and embraced courage to find gifts. And one of the gifts that you found was that pillow, the laughter, and the joy. And congratulations for that. Like, wow, right?
You're so sweet. You are so, you know what? You and all of the ladies that have spoken so far, and the ladies after us, you are inspiring. I had tears, I had laughter, I had joy. Joe is just amazing. I can't wait to be in Italy with you in April. And it's just a world of people getting together with the strength. So I want to thank you, Dr. B, because without you today, there are many people, women and men, that are feeling crushed over you have cancer.
Absolutely. So I'm going to let you tell your story, and then I'll be back in a minute.
All right. Well, thank you so much. So I want to go ahead and I want to start my timer, because what I want to share with you is that, ladies and gentlemen, cancer affects all of us. And in 2017, it affected me. And I was the first in my family, and hopefully the last in my family, to ever have the breast cancer. But here's my story. In 2017, my former husband and I, we were having our marital challenges. It just wasn't working out. And during that time, we were separated. I was down in South Florida, became a caretaker of my mom. Many of you know her as Hurricane Francis. She's on my YouTube channel, Happiness Jungle YouTube channel. And I share this with you because we go through things in life, and sometimes we don't understand why. But if we could look at it at what is the purpose, that's what gains us our strength. So in 2017, I was down in South Florida. I was taking care of my mom, trying to figure out how to make my marriage work. And then I canceled over 21 speaking engagements. We tend to pause our lives for others, but we don't tend to pause our lives for ourselves, where if we are good, everybody else around us is good. And that year in September, I had one speaking engagement that I did not want to cancel. And it was up in New Hampshire, where I was residing. And it was for families in transition. So I made sure my mom was taken care of. I went up to New Hampshire and I decided I'm also going to go for my yearly checkup, because it was time. There was nothing wrong with me. I felt fine. And only to come to find out that I was told I had the breast cancer. And at that time, you have to allow yourself to feel the emotions. But what I refused to do, because I wasn't completely sure of the breast cancer that I had, I was not going to Google anything. I did not want my mind to wander. And I encourage each and every one of you that are going through the cancer, any kind of cancer, and you're uncertain of what cancer you have, don't start Googling, because you could put yourself in an earlier grave, and it's not necessary. So allow the process and the learning curve to go ahead and, melt into you, so you can literally, mind over matter, put everything in its proper perspective. When I got together with my former husband and I shared with him that I had the breast cancer, he wasn't strong enough to go through it with me. And I had to forgive him for his weaknesses so I could be able to be thinking about me. Self-love absolutely comes into play when you're thinking about this. Now, I did have the support of my daughter and her husband and my 4 beautiful granddaughters. And I thank God that I did, because they were there for me. However, I knew that I needed to show them strength. And my legacy is very important to me. So when I found out I had the breast cancer and it was carcinoma, I was in the beginning stages of it. They caught it early. And that's why I preach mammogram so hard, because if it wasn't for the mammogram, I never would have felt it. It was in the middle of my breast, underneath the nipple, and very deep. I asked the doctor, how come I don't feel anything? I don't feel any lumps. I don't see any redness. I don't see anything that others have told me that they've experienced. And that's when they shared with me, if it wasn't for the mammogram that I went for, I probably never would have found it until it reached a stage where who knows what I would have had to do. So I went ahead and I had the surgery. 3 weeks into radiation, I did end up getting a divorce. So I feel Dr. B. I understand what that's like. And you could feel lonely and you could feel very vulnerable and all different things. However, as soon as I found out I had the breast cancer, I looked up at God in the universe and I said, what's the purpose? So I guess the purpose was for me to come out with my book, Squeeze My Tatas. You're only one mammogram away from knowing. And if anybody would like a free copy for this event, please inbox me and I will autograph it and I will send it to you, because it's all about the positive mindset of getting through what we have to get through. And then I had to think to myself, well, what is the purpose of getting the divorce, even though neither one of us really wanted it 3 weeks into radiation? And the purpose is the Cuddle Me Love body pillow that ended up hugging me every single night. So when we come up with these things, I want people to realize that there's a greater purpose than what it is that we're going through. The Cuddle Me Love Body Pillow is now helping hundreds, soon to be thousands around the world. And I want to be able to give those hugs back to others so they could rest comfortably. And I want to go ahead and, if it's okay with you, Dr. B, I want to offer two promotions. Promotions. Number one, I am in pre-launch right now with Cuddle Me Love Body Pillow. And for everybody that is listening and that is on here, I want to offer you a pre-order special of a 15% discount for the pillow. And I also want to give back 10% to this cause that we're doing right now. So in order for you to get the 15% off your Cuddle Me Love Body Pillow, I want you to put in the discount code Warrior Hugs. Yes, Warrior Hugs. And when that comes through, I know to also donate a portion of the proceeds right back into what we're doing today, which is helping each and every one of us realize that there's a purpose we're going through what we are. And together we're going to hug each other and we're going to pull each other through this because we are more than enough. Dr. B, I want to thank you so, so much for everything that you're doing. I want to thank all of the amazing women and the speakers that are on this panel today for sharing your stories and your strength. You help me and we help others. So thank you so, so much. I love you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lindy. Like, I love you. You have to do that laugh. Come on.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it. I love it. Thank you.
Laughter is truly, oh my goodness, it is the best medicine in the world. Go ahead and put on your wigs, put on your smiles, do what, Joe said, do what the other said, but always laugh because it truly is the best medicine.
Absolutely. I love you so much. And thank you for that beautiful laughter. And we want you to share this link, cuddlemelove.com. And then I put the code there.
Yes.
Because we all need that hug. And sometimes we don't have it. And sometimes it's night and dark. And if we can just cuddle up with something, it just brings that bond, that knowing I'm not alone. So thank you, Lindy, for being here. And I will see you very, very soon.
Yes, you will.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody. Stay strong.
And Jeff, are you here? My wonderful Jeff. Meet Lindy. Look at Lynn. Thank you, Lynn. So, hey, Jeff. Thank you.
How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Now, with Jeff, it's a little different, but we're going to listen to his story because he's like my sons, right? He had parents who had cancer, both of them had some type of cancer. But I'm still giving you this because, the certificate of conquering cancer, it's not only about living, but it's how do you live through situations of cancer, Jeff. And you were a son who dealt with two parents having cancer. And oh my God, I want to get teary here because my kids went through it. And I know it's hard. It's not only hard for us, the people that are experiencing it, but our kids who have to watch us go through it. And the pain you go through is really hard, but you embraced courage and you found gifts. And I know you're an author of writing about the story about your parents. And I think it's amazing that you did that. And I really want to thank you for stepping up and having the courage and telling the story. So thanks. What are the gifts that you found during this whole time?
Well, Dr. B, thank you for including me on this platform. And I just have to say, I salute all the women, the courageous, the confident, the capable women on this platform, sharing their stories of resilience. It's awesome and amazing to hear the wonderful stories that I've been listening to. Yes, my story is a little bit different because I was in my youth Um, when my father was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in the late 80s, really actually in 1990, and it really progressed. And he made his transition in 1991. I was still in college. And my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer in 1987. But God is a wonderful God. And, he blessed me with 10 more years with my mother. And she made her transition of breast cancer in 1997. So it was a up and down and battle, really just trying to get my mindset around the whole situation of both parents having cancer, right? At such a young age, and just understanding the dynamics about that, being in school, being away. I was down there, University of Houston. I don't know if any Houstonians are in the house, but Houston is my second home besides Chicago. And, you know, I guess over time, I really didn't know how to combat it. I didn't know how to communicate what was going on up here and in the heart. And so I lived with it. You know, I lived with it. I dealt with it. But there was a situation. There were so many things that came about where I wanted to, kind of express. And yes, I had family. I supported family. I had my village, but I was the only child. Even though I have an older brother from a previous marriage in Detroit, who I love dearly. My Detroit family is great, but they weren't here necessarily in Chicago. And so it was just a very difficult transition, not having that parental touch, that guidance, that love. And so, from that point on, I still worked in corporate America for Fortune 500 companies, and later on became a co-owner of a healthy restaurant concept. And for those who don't know, I'm a healthy lifestyle specialist. I've been in the industry for a little bit over between 15 and 20 years, but more specifically the health and wellness space. So I think from the time a lot of things has transpired, not just personally, but professionally, I was able to, I guess, wrap all this up in a nice package or bow, and move silently, but not expressive. And I should probably have been more expressive. But what really helped me to help others, I was that rock for other people who were losing their loved ones. And I was one of the younger ones to lose my parents. But at the same time, there were others, friends and family members that were going through some things, some challenges as well. And I was just really able to assist them because I had already gone through it. Now they were in my shoes. And now it was up to me to be that rock and to have some type of foundation for those friends and loved ones. And later on, through this experience, because it was a long experience, I was able to author a book called Battleground Cancer: Managing Your Mental, Physical, and Spiritual Well-Being for the Fight, right here. And I talk about the journey of losing my parents, but more importantly, it's about how we need to really be in prepare mode versus repair mode. And I talk a lot about the subject of health and wellness, and really being able to transform people's unhealthy choices into a vibrant lifestyle, because without your health, there is no wealth. And so we want to make sure that we're always strong mentally, spiritually, physically. And again, the book was really educational. It's therapeutic, because it's not necessarily, it's really about the battleground. It's really about the battlefield of life. Yes, we have the battleground, but it's the battlefield that we're living in today. Because there are some things I wish my parents had known about in terms of food and beverage consumption, about the labeling and content on packaging, the nutritional information that has been tarnished or invisible to a lot of us as consumers. And I put this in the book because, I have a degree in hospitality operations. I have a restaurant, healthy concept restaurant. And, I've been trained for this specific skill set to understand more about packaging and labeling and nutritional content information because, as they say, you are what you eat. And it really is, and everything in moderation, of course. But there's just a lot of things that I wish they had known, or all of us had known, as it relates to, sugar, high fructose corn syrup, GMOs, genetically modified organisms, nitrates and nitrates. All these things matter. Your health matters. And so from this point on, I've been on different radio stations and different podcasts, different platforms talking about the necessity of living a healthier, vibrant lifestyle because it is about longevity. It is about longevity. And at the end, the battle's not yours. It's the Lord's. The battle's not yours. It's the Lord's. So you have to remain faithful and do your due diligence and do the right thing of managing your food and beverage consumption and intake. So I definitely wanted to, share this information with you because it's imperative and it's paramount that we get our health checked and in order. And I salute all the champions and the warriors, the princesses on this platform. It's very important what they've done and what they continue to do to be healthier.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, I know that it's hard for any person that's in the surrounding of people experiencing cancer. So again, like I really want to ring that bell. And the bell is about reminding people to step into their courage. So if you are watching this, what we're asking is that you share because there's someone out there looking for an answer and they want to be inspired. And we want to let them know that they are not alone. Like we experience cancer. Jeff's parents experienced cancer. And it's not something that we're proud of, but it's something that we went through and we experienced and figured out how to find joy, how to keep living and being here with you today. Now we're here telling untold stories so that we can empower, inspire, and give hope to people. So Jeff, thank you so much. And thank you for saying yes and being on the book. I really love that. I'm waiting for people to know that other side of the son, the son's story and how it impacts you and how you dealt with it. And then to watch them. Right.
Well, thank you, Dr. B. I really appreciate being a part of this discussion, this panel, and I'd like to also offer some things to our audience because it's important that I add value and content. I want to share a couple sites. If you go to battlegroundcancer.com, that's one word, battlegroundcancer.com. There's a brief bio on myself, but it's about the book. But there are ways that you can, once you put your information in, you can get a free chapter of my book. There's a mini workout plan that I detail that I actually do because, I really talk about, the mindset, the diet, and exercise. I think that's 3 key ingredients for your health goals.
Exactly. If you can type it in here, I would really appreciate it.
Sure, I will definitely do that so that
way
people
I
can
share it. And I'm going to be sharing everybody's link. So if you haven't given me a link, ladies, put it in the chat, in the private chat, and I will be sharing it shortly with other individuals. But Jeff, thank you so much. I know that some of you are waiting to listen to some other amazing panelists.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. And the next person that's coming up is Iwa. I hope I pronounced it correctly. Iwa?
Yes.
How do I pronounce your name?
So my name is Eva. It's a Polish name.
Eva.
Okay,
I love it. Beautiful name, Eva. Thank you for saying yes. I met Eva not too long ago because they introduced me to her and said that she had an amazing story. So this is really my first time meeting you, and I am glad you said yes, because sometimes when opportunities open up and they're like immediate, it's like, when do you know when to say yes to situations, right? And you said yes because I know that you're going to help us reach millions of people and inspire them and give them hope, because you have an amazing story. So I'm going to give you about 10 minutes here so that you can talk about your story. And of course, you have a certificate too. So let me share it. Give me a second. Oh, hooray. You see, and the reason I'm given certificates is because a lot of times what happens is that people give up hope, right? And I think that sometimes we don't even realize, like, we reach a moment of success in our lives and then we move on to another step. But I want to remind you and all the panelists here today that you are champions. So yay for you guys. You are champions.
Thank you. It feels
made
awesome.
you made it, and you're here, and you have stepped into courage, and you're embracing it. But now, how do we take that gift of courage and life, right? And we pass the baton to other people. That's what I want to do today. How do we pass that baton and tell people, you have the courage too, like, go for it. You can do anything you want. Live every day. So this is your moment, and tell your story. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much once again. I'm just feeling so much blessed by you all and your stories. It's incredible. I already feel that I know you. It's it's amazing. So your question is actually amazing, because my gift with the cancer is that I discover my own powers. And I believe that we all have amazing powers inside of us, but unfortunately they are often hidden. And unless something happens in our life, like in my life, it was cancer, we don't know about those hidden powers. So for me, my story with cancer started very, it was a huge surprise for me, because it was a normal day at work. I was working, I came home, and in the evening I had a very strong pain in my belly, to the point that I could not sustain it, and I had to call ambulance. I asked my husband to call ambulance. And, I was very naive. I was just thinking that I will go and they will just check what's happening. They will give me some strong something strong medication for the pain, and I will come home to my kids and to my husband and to my everyday life. But that was not actually what happened. And just 1 hour later, I was on the operation table, having operation that actually saved my life. What happened was that I had a cyst, and I knew about this cyst that was on my ovary, but I was not so worried. But for some reason, that cyst grew in just like 10 days, it doubled the size, and it broke. So they literally had to open me very quickly, do the operation, which I'm forever grateful for. And what happened is that I again thought, okay, the operation is done. Now I can live my life. I can come back to my life. But what I thought was the end appeared to be the beginning of my cancer healing journey, because I find out that the cyst was actually attached to one of my ovaries, which unfortunately had to be cut off during operation, and they found out that I had ovarian cancer. So I had to go to another very difficult operation and lose quite a few organs. And then I find out that in just few weeks, the cancer spread from very low level. So I started with 1A to 3A, meaning that it spread. And I also had it in my lymphatic system with other ovary. And also I find out that I have another cancer in my womb. It was, they find the second one. So I did not really understood what's going on, why suddenly my body is giving up on me, which that was my thinking back then. I was always believing and be very positive minded. So I entered the schedule with the homeotherapy and all the other things I was doing for myself to heal, with a plan and very good mindset of I will deal with that. It was very difficult, and with the pain and the different things that I had to go through. But each time I was facing a difficult moment, I would find another solution, what I could do in order to help myself. And after I finished the whole chemotherapy cycle, I had the examination and a meeting with my doctor to find out. Basically, I thought, I'm healthy now and I can come back to my life and live my life. Unfortunately, that meeting was not the way I was hoping for, because I find out that the scans show multiple places and spread to the cancer to my lungs, which of course was not the way I would ever imagine that it could happen. And then something really amazing happened, because after I left the office of my doctor, because I needed a break. I was not really understanding what he was saying anymore to me. I was really stressed and shocked. I pray, and I ask God that if it's my time to go, I go. But if there's something that I could do, that something can happen, I would really love to stay, And so what happened was that one of my friends contacted me, and she helped me to contact with another person that helped me to overcome my cancer through actually energy healing method called image cycling. And it was so amazing that I decided to share all this with the people who are actually going through difficult moments like cancer in my book, but also through the organization that I set up called Global Cancer Solutions, where we teach people how to actually deal with stress and deal with all these emotions when they go through cancer, either as a patient, either as a family, to know that there are some things that they can do to help themselves to feel better, to feel stronger, and not give up.
Yeah, Eva. I mean, I could feel you. Like, there's so many moments that I'm tearing up because our story is still raw. And it doesn't matter how long it's been. Like with me, I started back in 2014, and I experienced it for about 5 years. So it was a long battle, a long fight. And it's still so raw. Like even right now, listening to you, it's like I'm getting very teary. And as we talk, it's very emotional. But we want people to know that we're here for you. Like we feel you. We feel you because we've experienced what you are going through. So we want to tell all those people that are out there that you have cancer, don't give up. Don't give up.
Exactly.
Like you have the courage that it takes to step up and then live every moment that you can. Lindy laughed right now, and that laughter, like find ways to laugh. Go watch comedy movies, go hang out with people, and join our support group. I have one that's called Discover Your Inner Healer. Like, how do you heal? Because
I love it.
Yes. So
I love it. I would love to. Yeah, I'm sure for sure we will talk more, because one of the things I would like to invite everyone is to join me. When you go to globalcancersolution.com, you can subscribe for a free webinar I'm doing about how to actually deal with stress and I'm giving the different techniques, and I'm laughing because, of course, one of the best is laughter. So we are all connected with that, and I'm definitely interested in your support group to exchange information and about the book, to actually, because it's not possible to live life after cancer without sharing with other people you love, and what can help. So this is something that is super important for me. And once again, I'm so happy that I joined it and I meet you all. You are amazing. You are amazing. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. So you will be receiving a lot of invitations below with a lot of these amazing people. So if you can type Eva, the group that you talked about,
Mhm.
go ahead and post it below. And then that way I can share it, because anything we can do for other people today, then we're asking that you support us, that you share
Yeah.
you on this on your timeline for those of you that are watching, because we do want to reach millions of people that are struggling through cancer. We want to inspire them. And we are raising funds and GoFundMe. You'll see my picture, but that doesn't mean I have cancer now. So do not get confused. I do not have cancer, but I did have cancer for about 5 years. And we're raising funds because I know that people are struggling, sometimes even paying for their funeral. So we're here, we're writing we're writing books, a book together, and all the money that we collect through that book will be donated to people that are fighting cancer. And also we had Lindy, who has an amazing pillow. So I'm going to put it here. So go and get this pillow and cuddle, cuddle, cuddle. Thank you. Do you have a bell, Eva, or not? No, it's okay. So
Yes.
thank you so much, Eva, for being here. And
Thank you so
it was
much.
great meeting you. We're going to do great things together. I know that. So hugs to you and a big
Thank you so much. It was an honor. Big kiss.
thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And next we have another amazing lady, Lakeisha Ross McGee. Thank you, Lakeisha. Thank you. It's
Hi.
been a pleasure, and it's a blessing to have you here with us. Um, I know that having to share our story has been a little difficult because we're getting a little teary, but we have to tell our story. We have to tell our story because there's so many people out there that are going through it right now. And I
Yes.
think that our moment of telling our stories to share and inspire people so that they gain hope. And I want to honor you with this certificate that I've been honoring everybody today, because
Thank you.
all of you amazing ladies, and Jeff, because he had parents who experienced cancer, I want to say congratulations. Like, I have this bell. Congratulations, because you are a champion. Like, you conquered cancer and you embrace courage to be here today. And especially today, you are sharing your story on how you found gifts of life and how people can actually step into their courage to live every moment. Through your story, people are going to find it. So thank you. You have about 10 minutes. So I'm going to step out and then you tell your story. Thank you. Thank you for saying yes and being here today.
Well, thank you for having me, first of all. I am definitely a champion for telling our stories, because I believe that if we continue to share, we'll continue to educate others about this deadly disease. And the only way we can do that is by sharing our stories. So my story was, I don't want to say funny because it wasn't, but I knew once I decided to go to the doctor, I knew what they were going to say. I had a knot in my breast for a while and kept ignoring it because I was getting my mammograms regularly, and my mammograms always came back clean, but this knot was still in my breast. So I kept going, and probably about 6 months before I was diagnosed with breast cancer, I had had a mammogram. As crazy as it sounds, it is absolutely the truth. Every August, I was getting these mammograms. So it was the summer, and I live in California now, but I'm from Chicago. And usually during the summertime, I'll go home in Chicago, and This particular summer, I was having some discharge, some bloody discharge from my nipple, and it had been a little bit, a couple of months that I've been experiencing that. And I didn't know just right flat out that it was a bloody discharge from my breast at first, because I would see a little drop in my bra and I was like, did I, hit my nipple or rub it too hard or something? It was not clicking that it was potentially breast cancer. But once I put the two and two together, I did a little research. I know I heard someone say, oh, I didn't research at all. I'm completely the opposite. I researched everything I could. And I did a little research and it said that either it was a infection of the breast ducts or it was breast cancer. Either way, there was going to have to be some type of procedure done, whether it was to treat the infection or whether it was breast cancer. So I continued on with my summer. And I said, when I get back home to California, I'll make sure that I go and I do an examination. I'll get a checkup. So when I get back to California, I did exactly that. I called my OB doctor and told her, I need to come in and get my checkup, and my gynecologist, I'm sorry, and get the normal checkups. It was time for the pap smear and the mammogram and stuff. And she was like, okay. So I came in, and at that time I wanted to do a mommy makeover. So she was like, well, with this lump, I have some concern. I want to send you to the plastic surgeon. So once I got to the plastic surgeon, he was like, well, no, I think you need to go and see an oncologist. Now, of course, I didn't know what an oncologist was because I had never had any use for one. However, he sent me to the oncologist. The oncologist actually said, "Don't worry about it. It's okay. I've seen this. It's not that bad." Wrong. So the oncologist sent me for a biopsy. The biopsy came back positive. And when my doctor called me to tell me that it was positive, I was actually on a high school tour with my daughter who's getting ready for high school. And of course, I'm trying to hold it together. I didn't want to break down in front of her. I didn't want her to know what was going on. She told me that it was just invasive ductal carcinoma in the ducts, the milk ducts. Well, it turned out that it was worse than that. It turned out that it was a stage 2, grade 7, stage 2B, grade 7. Um, HER2 positive, ER positive, and PR positive, just meaning that my estrogen fuels the breast cancer. So they have to do everything they can to try to keep the breast cancer out. They even suggested doing a hysterectomy, but it kicked me into early menopause. So I don't see the point in having a hysterectomy, but that was suggested to do because of the type of breast cancer that I had, which is the estrogen. So from that point, we did a bilateral mastectomy. We did 19 rounds of chemo, and we did 20. Oh Lord, now it's starting to blend together. We did, I think, 32 rounds of radiation. Because I had to have a few extra doses because my margins were not clear. Um, what the process taught me was patience. It taught me just to be thankful for everything that you have in life. When I found out the diagnosis, I was not afraid that I was going to die because God told me that all sickness is not unto death, that this is just so that he would get the glory. So I knew that I was going to be okay, but I didn't understand why. I thought myself to be healthy. I ate pretty good. I was a runner forever. I didn't drink. I didn't smoke. So, I did wonder why me, but if not me, then who? So throughout this, as I said, it's taught me patience. It's taught me just more self-love, just more understanding, more kindness, just towards myself and towards others. It taught me more about just being able to help and share my story. So when I would go to chemo, I would go live on Facebook. I was always sharing my stories as I went along the way because I wanted other people to see what I was going through. And by the grace of God, he kept me. I didn't look like what I was going through. Of course, I felt like what I was going through, but I still kept a smile and I kept pushing forward. I created a nonprofit organization called Heal Her Too Foundation because I wanted to help other people. I remember going to chemo and I always had a support system. My support system was amazing. Someone always went with me. I saw people there that didn't have that same support. When I would go to radiation, I saw people, I had 3 or 4 people in the room with me, and I saw people that came alone. So I wondered, what was their process like? What was their treatment like for them? How were they feeling? Because I know that your outlook helps you on how you make it through. If you feel like you're going to make it, if you know that you're going to survive, then you do better. So I created a nonprofit organization so that I can help others who are going through, as well as the caregiver. I watched my mom take care of me, and I watched the drain on her. I watched how difficult it was for her to take care of not only me. Her father was also going through cancer at the same time, and my dad had passed from cancer. So my mother had been dealing with just all of these bouts of cancer with her loved ones. So my nonprofit organization also has a component to help the caregiver as well. We also educate on financial literacy, because I didn't realize, had I had insurance during that time, it would have helped with some of my financial burden. So we talk about financial literacy. We talk about healthy eating habits. We talk about stress levels and exercise. We talk about everything breast cancer so that we can help others in this process. We also do some financial support. We also send, it's called the pink box. We send this box out when we find out that you're in treatment, so that you can have the things that I knew helped me when I was going through radiation: aloe vera gel, when I had no hair, the little beanie hats, heating pads, just different things. So my whole purpose is to be able to give back and help others who are going through the same thing that I went through.
Thank you, Lakeisha. And that's exactly what we're doing today also. So share your link below, because I think it's amazing that we're coming together. And I think that together we really empower other people, you know,
We do.
because individually we can just go so far, but we go deeper and wider when we all come
Hmm.
together. So I'm really happy that you said yes. And I'm glad that Jeff introduced us. Thank you, Jeff, for
Yes.
introducing Lakeisha and me.
Thank you, Jeff.
Because I know that we're going to make a difference together. And
Absolutely.
I hope you join us in the book, because I think that's another way that we keep giving back. All the
Hmm.
We are going to be writing a book, and everything, when we share our story and we start selling it, everything we make from that book will be going to Alive and Beautiful. It's a foundation I created for the same reason, where
Hmm.
I want to be able to help and support people that are going through cancer. I mean, I still take some medication, and they're still paying for it. And that's how wonderful it is. And that's how we
Hmm.
need to pay it forward. You know, I'm
Yes.
taking this medication for what, 4 more years. And I'm not raising money for me. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that people go through financial hardship for years.
Yes.
And we want to be here to support that cause. And
Yes.
thank you so much for sharing your story. Um, and hopefully we'll see you very, very soon, Lakeisha. So
Yes.
stay
Thank
tuned. I
you.
want to bring everybody up. If you stick at the end, I'll just bring you up when we all say goodbye together. Thank you.
Okay. Thank
And a
you.
big hug. And I'm going to ring the bell again, because it's all about stepping into your courage. And that
Yes.
courage will take you to places that you can't imagine. I mean, no, you're not going to imagine. I went, and I've been living my dreams recently. And anything I want, I'm basically trying to do. And I stepped into a cage with a
Absolutely.
white tiger, because I love white tigers. And then when I seen it and they said it's okay, go in, I stepped in, pet the white tiger. And I needed courage at that time, because I
Hmm.
was afraid. But what can you do different? And it's either surviving, or
Hmm.
whether it's cancer or any type of difficulty. Uh, Madden Sparkle said we all go through struggles. And Lindy said, I think it was Lindy, she said, we're born crying, So whatever it is that you're experiencing, you have to step into that courage. So Lakeisha, thank you so much. And with
Thank
me now
you.
is Helenique. Helenique, hello, my dear. I love Helenique also. I mean, we've been partnering up in so many ways. She has a Women of Truth organization, and she has a lot of conferences. In fact, she just had one, and she jumped out of over there to come over here. So, Helene, thank you, because I know you also had struggled through cancer. And I also want to uh, give you a beautiful certificate that I think it's a beautiful certificate because I want to congratulate you. Yay, Helen! Because she is a champion. She conquered cancer. She is embracing courage. And what I want to say for those of you that you are experiencing cancer, like, you have to embrace courage. Even when you don't have it, you have to embrace it and step into it. And I'm congratulating these women because they did it. And then now they're paying it forward in so many ways. They're giving back to the community, either through workshops or something to help you dive within and step into your greatness. And Hellenique is something that she does. So Hellenique, gracias for being here.
Gracias. Y tú, Dr. Angelica Benavides. Always a pleasure. So exciting to be seeing you doing these projects and for the synergy that's happening between your work and mine. I think we are bonded forever through the journey of breast cancer. Women understand a part of another woman's journey in a way like no one else can. And I think for me, I want to just say that I experienced that journey as one of the most profound ones ever. As shocking as it was, I think for me it was a type of initiation. I had some very specific downloads about how I would use my experience and what I learned from it to teach at a deeper level. Certain things that are getting overlooked as women on our journeys in life, and that I needed to go through that experience to understand what they were, because I had, I think, on a soul level, a higher calling to want to work a lot on gender and on global female leadership. And it was very paradoxical that there I was, a therapist, a psychologist, like the previous speaker, Lakeisha, very healthy as a person. The last person people would have expected would have fallen ill. I was meditating for 10 years. I was, a yogi. I was watching my diet. I was vegetarian. All the things that people say keep you safe from chronic illness flew in the face of the diagnosis. And I had very profound synchronizing moments where I would find myself in front of the Mother Mary icon when I got my diagnosis. Recently, when I had COVID, again, Mother Mary in front of my hospital bed. And suffice to say that for me, it was very clear that I needed to trust in a force beyond my own fear and my own reasoning in order to go through that journey. And I think, if anything, this was what was so profound about it, is the big realization that the body has an incredible capacity to heal. And having the privilege, I know it sounds like, very positive to say this, but it actually is a very positive thing, that the body has limits and it can still heal and rejuvenate itself. And it has a very profound way of bringing consciousness to us. When we do that, awareness is elevated when we go on journeys like this. And in fact, in Africa, I think this really helped me also have the courage that you speak about, Angelica, where they have this understanding in the ancestral tradition that your ancestors are very important for you to honor and respect your ancestors in order for this life that you have to be fruitful, to be grateful from where you come from. But more than this, the tradition of becoming a traditional medicine man or medicine woman is that you will have some kind of calling. And the calling can happen through disease, through madness, and through a chronic illness. And I think I remember when I was ill in the hospital thinking about that at a much deeper level, because until then I only understood it in terms of psychiatric illness, because people do have moments of insanity, and then when they recover, they know they are going to serve their communities from all these downloads that they had in that state, and they managed to heal that state. And not everyone does, so those are the true healers. But there are also people that get sick, and I thought, isn't it interesting that illness calls us to a higher level of awareness. And I think it has something to do with this rearranging your cells, having to reinvest in why you want to be in the world, why you want to be here, becoming so grateful for this incredible empathy and compassion that can surround you. I was one of those, Lakeisha, who went in on my own. I had a lot of moments of having to reconcile how I hadn't found ways to feel certain kind of support in life, and that took me deep into an investigation on the profiling of breast cancer survivors. Because I'm a clinical psychologist, I was obviously very interested and needed to get into the depth of why. And I had a sister who was older than me that fit the profile a little bit more classically and also got breast cancer, full stage. So when I got it, and we didn't have any hereditary gene in our family, and no mothers or grandmothers or great grandmothers who had the illness, it was very surprising. And of course, I was much more extroverted than my sister, and I didn't have three kids, and I wasn't married, and I didn't have all the stress, and I, seemingly was in such a different place. And what I learned, which is my second insight, first one, how powerful is the body that it can heal, and what a gracious privilege it is to go through that journey, which is almost an initiation into a higher calling, to serve on a higher level when you heal. And this can pull you forward into healing yourself. But the second thing that was so profound is this incredible empathy, that can surround you. As I was saying, family, learning how to accept support. A lot of breast cancer survivors are women that have been giving to others way more than what they've received, and or allow themselves to receive. It's not that people are not giving to them, it's just that they sometimes don't feel deserving. I mean, there's some amazing research by Dr. Hancock who talks about all this, and the German profiling of women who have this illness. And I think now it's way more complex because cancer's become so prevalent around the world. Is, the high toxicity levels on our planet, the food supply, many reasons. But I think the second insight of how amazing people really are in helping you heal is really profound. And then the third thing was that, as women, I think there's many things we inherit around toxic femininity, overgiving, self-abandoning, not really slowing down enough to listen to our own deeper needs. And I could see that even though I wasn't that introverted woman that maybe turns her emotions into her, even as a therapist, talking as much as I do, working through emotion. If you go through too many difficult things in life and you just don't have enough time to catch up with yourself to process all of it, if you live in the world with a lot of friction, for example, like a lot of alpha females, myself and many others have been on some very difficult journeys to be who they really are in the world, then cancer can become something on that path that comes your way. Because I think, now we need to start to think about how can we create more and more awareness about the trauma and the struggle and the stress that women are under, and that women carry over time. And what do we need to do to keep working on these parts of us that are sometimes suffering in silence? And not because we don't want others to know, but because maybe we just don't simply have enough time to slow down enough. So really happy to be sharing this with everybody, and to be hearing all the great stories of victory that women and many others who've suffered this illness have been on. And I can only say that for me, the after effect is seeing all these incredible beings with an incredible power, courage, and insight come forward to inspire so many others. So I think there's meaning in going on this journey that is, way more inspiring than the tragedy of it. And to those who lose their life to this illness, I respect and honor that they also don't fight through and come back to survive. And that's also, understandable, because sometimes somebody's spirit has fought enough and they choose to leave this planet. So I also found myself being able to come to terms with mortality and death in a new way, and to respect everybody on their journey, whichever way they choose to come through this journey, whether they heal themselves and reinvent themselves, or whether they leave and choose to pass on. So thank you so much for the opportunity, Dr. Angelica, and to all of you who've shared tonight. I'm sorry I wasn't here to hear you, but yes, indeed, I am using a lot of what I've learned to work on divine feminine leadership, and very excited to have Dr. Angelica on that journey with us as well at Women of Truth. And yeah, I think it is very important that we talk more truthfully about what is difficult for us as women, so that we can begin to clear some of the residues that we see women harboring and silencing and carrying for years, decades, that actually can contribute to an illness like this. So thank you for the work you're doing. And thank you to everyone for the time and attention. Can you hear me, Dr.
You're on mute, Dr. B. I can't hear you.
Yes, I am going to bring some, Jeff, I don't know if you're there, and Lindy, let's see if they're there. I just want to thank all the panelists.
Yes, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Thank you for being here. I think I lost, yay, free hugs. Woo-hoo! And the bell, of course. We cannot leave that bell. Look at that. Fight like hell. All right. You know what? We have to. We have to. I hate using the word fight, but sometimes like that just makes sense in people's brain. It's like, what do you do when you don't want something in your life, right? You have to put all your force to against it. Let's say against it, not towards it, so that you can find strategies. Like I did everything in the book and more and beyond. I went with alternative care. There's Regne. Regne, if you want to join us, come hop on and say goodbye. We'll bring you on. But Regne is saying congratulations to all. And we really have to put all our energy into what we want. You know, it's like I always tell people when you're driving and if you're going to crash, it's like you don't look towards where you're going to hit, you look away, right? And you move the steering wheel so that you can see clearly and you can see where you can go toward. So the same with you. If you are experiencing cancer, we all told our story. It was very brief and short and sweet, but we have so much more to share. And we are writing a story together. And the book will be coming out very soon. I'm hoping by next month this book is out. Like that's how committed I am. So that we can give tips and strategies on what we did. You know, when we lost our hair, what did we do when if we went to radiation? What did we do? What did we do? What worked for us? What worked for us might not work for you, but it will give you, it would open up ideas and opportunities so that you can go look for something that works for you. And that's all we're saying. This is breast cancer awareness. It's not easy. It's not something that you're going to get rid of tomorrow, because I know I went through it for what, 5, 6 years. It was hard. It was the hardest thing of my life. And I know you are probably experiencing something similar. But what we're here to remind you, go back and listen to the story, what they did, how they discovered, and follow them. Follow them. You know, I never fear uh, anything. It's like the more we come together, I think the stronger we are. And everybody has something to offer. And I feel that there's no competition, but different tools of doing things differently. So Lee, uh, Maddie Sparkles, and Jeff and Eva, and I know some of the other panelists had to leave, but thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You are amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. B.
Amazing,
Most
Dr.
definitely.
B. Thank you, everybody.
While we're here, if anybody wants to say anything, I'm going to be sharing some of the links really quick here. Here's Michelle's. So connect with Michelle. She's not in right now, but she was one of our first speakers. And then we had Lindy. You know, it's the cuddlemilove.com. And then you put warrior, the code was warrior
Hugs.
So enter that warrior hugs. And then we had Jeff, who shared his 360 health and wellness network. And also you're going to see all the links if you're in YouTube, you'll see the links there. If you're on Facebook, you're going to see them below. So go ahead and click on them. Um, and then Maddie, here's yours again, Maddie Sparkles. And then we had Joe Weiler. She has retreats. So if you have anything on retreats, connect with Joe. And then Eva, here's her link right here. And of course, if you want to join mine, it's called Discover Your Inner Healer. You can post, you can comment, you can ask any questions that you might have. And then we had Lakeisha's link below. Of course, I will post everything again so that you can follow us. If I missed any links, you will see them below. Because I know we've had Dr. Wendy and she's amazing, the financial healer. And then we're asking if you want to donate $1, $5, whatever you want to donate. We are raising funds to write that book and to give money to women or men that are struggling. Last year, I collected a lot of children's toys and I went and I gave them to children who were experiencing chemo therapy and gifted them during the Christmas holidays. So that was amazing. Our truck was full of gifts, and I want to thank for those of you that donated and gave back. And it's always how do we pay forward? So if you want to pay forward right now, donate, and you will see the results. And I post what I do. I never keep it silent and quiet, and that's the foundation of Life and Beautiful Foundation. So Lynn D is also giving a percentage back to our foundation. So go buy that beautiful Cuddle Me Love pillow. So thank you. Thank you so much. And let's go ahead and ring a bell. And thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks,
And
Dr. B. Thanks for all this
you.
incredible organization.
Thank you so much. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.